KCAA.
Oh, baby. Time for Empire Talks Back. I am Wallace Allen here on the case for truth and justice with the right information to help improve the situation. And folks, they're trying to make you give up hope. They're trying to make you think that the world is going to hell. The world is listen, the world ends for someone every day. The issue is, though, the world begins for someone every day. Opportunity is how we see the future, not the past. Oh, yeah, the past is there. We can do nothing without remembering and using the past for fuel. But, folks, don't drink the cruel aid. There's a reason to look forward. There's a reason to understand that you are the future. Your children are the future. Those knuckleheads who mistreated you in the past, they are part of the future because they're your fuel. Fuel for the future. Hey, that's what we've got to think about. Don't drink the cruel aid. Give up the good part of yourself. Look for the good part of yourself. Wake up in the morning and be enthused. Don't get out of that bed until you remember who you are and what you've got to do. Do not jump up taking care of the rest of the world's business without taking care of the business of tying yourself together in a straight line and focusing on who you are and what it is you have to provide, the gift that you are to the world. And the first thing to be that gift is for you to solid yourself up and be yourself and not come out of that bed acting crazy and wild. I don't know if there's a wrong side or the right side, but I do know there's a right attitude, and that's the only thing that you have any control over. The only thing you have any right to even want to control is your attitude. Because your attitude is going to tell you how to deal with those things that are unexpected and sometimes unwanted. But you got to want whatever comes at you, because as soon as you want it, you can deal with it and get it gone. So you don't want it, don't drink the cruel aid. We're in June, the month of June, Black Music Month, Juneteenth month, Freedom Month, Father's Day. A lot of good stuff to look forward to. Oh, yeah, you got to drop the garbage off on Tuesday night, but Wednesday morning they pick it up. That's all I'm saying. We have to deal with these things, and we have an opportunity every day to make today great and tomorrow greater. Juneteenth, that's that 2.5-year wait. That was the cruel aid. You know, we make lemonade out of the lemons. And slavery and the mistreatment of slavery and boy, the inspiration, the dedication, the development. It's ugly, but it's so beautiful. You know, life is really, really, really a beautiful thing. The pain that you go through turns out to be a great song that other people dance to. Because you wrote the song. You endured the pain. You converted the misinformation into something that inspires the rest of the world to do better, to be entertained, to see themselves as something that can be useful. Books, writers, inventors, they're all around us. You're all part of that. You can be that, almost you are that. It's just, do you have enough focus when you get up in the morning to develop that? Or are you going to run out and do that honey-do list that's not even put together by anybody that really considers you honey? Man, it's inside of you. And I'm going to share some of that with you today. No, I'm not going to sit down and give you a bunch of Wall-E poems. I could do that and hopefully inspire, but no, I'm going to share the inspiration that other people have put together. We've got a young man, Mr. Gray Cash. He's out here trying to figure out how to make the world greener and in that sense probably get some green cash. But his concepts of engineering have to do with collecting the wasted energy and bringing it back to make electric motors more efficient. And I've been reading these few trade magazines and things of that sort, and he's sitting right on top of it. He takes that energy that rotates around your wheels of your car and brings it back to make the car go further, cheaper. And right now, with gas being $9,463,000 a gallon, well, maybe it's a little cheaper where you are, but it's expensive. So we have to look at saving our world by making our world better. And we've got people thinking about that. And the interesting part about it is we're able to point to these people coming from the same folks that support Empire Talks Back. Because Empire Talks Back is brought to you by the Improve Association, West Side Story newspaper, and we focus there on Bob, black-owned businesses. We want you to support black-owned businesses because when you support America's black-owned businesses, America gets the money back. We're going to take a short break. I'm going to come back. I'm going to introduce you to our writer of the day, Miss Melanie Sifford. Did I say it right? Sifford. I have no problem with her name except she's sitting here next to me. She's got this razor blade that's sitting right next to my wrist here. But she's an artist. She's a writer. She's right here in the Inland Empire inspiring our children, but she's a writer. She goes to Mars every 3 or 4 times a night and comes back with these great stories. She's going to share with us right after the break. Guys, get your pens and papers out. We're going to inspire this morning and share what other people do. But as we do that, it's to point out that you're sitting on a gift. You are a gift, and you have not shared with us yet. And we need you to come out of your shell so that we can avoid America going to hell. You've got the answer. I want you to come back with it. We'll be right back after this short break. Welcome to Today.
We're on the move. Yeah.
This is KCAA.
Hey, kiddo, ready to catch that movie?
Almost. Wallet, phone, keys, mask. Yep, all set.
A mask? It's not required, is it?
No, but it's gonna be busy and crowded, so I'll feel better with it on.
You right. It is open at night. Let me grab mine.
Nice. You passed the vibe check, Dad.
Wearing a mask when it can help protect you and others is just one way to keep each other safer. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
We now return to the adventures of Vaccine and Booster, Ultimate COVID-19 Warriors.
Vaccine.
Yeah, Booster.
This COVID-19 and its pesky variants have gotten way out of hand.
They're no match for us.
Repeat the mission.
Protect the community, reduce hospitalizations and death.
Because we're the best protection available. Fact.
Watch out! Incoming!
Shields up. Take that, COVID-19.
And that.
Find safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines and boosters near you. Visit myturn.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
KCAA.
All right, we're back. This is Empire Talks Back. I am Wallace Allen, and I do want to mention the fact that I am blessed with parents that are in their 90s, and a mother and mother-in-law in their 90s, 95, 96. They're real sharp. I'm looking forward to, being 196
Yes.
again.
Again.
And there's other people that don't even want to. I don't like mentioning age sometimes. My mother is about this, and she gets on me. But if you look at my mother, you would not see a 95, 96-year-old person until somebody says, well, you know, she's 95, 96. And then all of a sudden, you know, your whole attitude and the things that you push on it, you know, and she said, I don't need you giving me no 95-year-old attitude.
Thank you. Thank you.
My father, on the other hand, give me that attitude and all the little services that you give to people who have reached this point. Hand me that so-and-so and such and such over there.
I'm with your mother on that. I absolutely tell everybody this, you know, the story, that as women in this country, oftentimes we are put in boxes based on the age, the number that we are assigned. And I started when I think I was 29. I stopped talking about age because I looked around the world and I could see that there was this double standard. With men, it was he's debonair, he's established, he's mature. But as a woman passes a certain age number, she's old, you know. And I decided then I would not fall into that.
The voice of Melanie Sifford.
I would never fall into that.
She is the writer. She is an instructor, a teacher, a motivator, a wonderful person to talk to. And for some reason now it makes sense to me to consider 30 forever.
30 forever.
30 forever.
Yeah.
Not because of how other people interpret.
And how I see myself. You know, I think that your mother has a great point to say that, you know, don't come over here with your preconceived ideas about what that number should be. I am me, and I don't need a number attached to me. I am authentically me.
Well, she definitely was a box jumper. You know, as soon as she saw a box, she started jumping, and not jumping in them, but jumping out of them.
Yeah.
At what point did you acknowledge your own resistance to tradition?
I think I've always, if you ask my mother, she would tell you that my favorite word as a child was no.
Wow, that's
and I just never wanted to be labeled anything.
Well,
ever.
You know, that kind of suggests that maybe one of your mother's favorite words to your activities and desired activities was no.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. It tells you a little bit more about me
Yeah.
when she says that. It
Yeah,
tells you
well,
more about who I am.
If the first words out are yes, that means you probably heard yes a lot. I don't think very many young people, 1-year-old, get to hear much more than no.
Yeah,
You hear encouraging those But I pointed out, and we've got to talk about your book.
Oh, for sure.
But I pointed out that my granddaughter was being confused by the word no. Because sometimes we would say no and you mean it, and then sometimes you say no and you let it go.
Right.
So I was noticing that I would ask my granddaughter something. I'd say, would you share that? And she'd say no and then hand it to me.
Right. Like, wait. How old is she?
She's 3 now.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no, and don't get me wrong, inside of all of that, I do sense a level of manipulation even at that age. So, you know, the whole point here. But you got on stage when you were in junior high school and you liked it.
I did. I fell in love with theater, with acting, with, you know, big lights. I would binge movie watching as a child. It was just my favorite, absolute favorite pastime outside of reading. I was an avid reader. I read everything that I could get my hands on. And at Christmas, I would ask my parents, you know, when they would say, what do you want for Christmas? I'd say books.
I'm going to ask you a question then about the first movie, or give me one of the movies that you really were enchanted by and you could sing some of the songs by, and probably based.
No, I wouldn't sing. I won't sing.
But there's a movie that keeps coming up. It crosses over cultures. Sound of Music, is that something you...
I love The Sound of Music. It is one of my favorite movies.
I think it's
I like Hamilton. That's not a movie, but hopefully one day it will be. But I love the theater. My good friend, and also a friend of yours, we've already got a plan that we're going to Broadway this year, or 2023. So we're going to go and see something on Broadway for the first time.
I have enough confidence in you that when you said go to Broadway, I said, well, you're going to mount a play on Broadway.
Well, look, that's very much
this year.
That's on the path.
Okay.
That's on the path.
Okay.
But we are going to just be tourists and just absorb it.
Now, after you were exposed to the bug biting you,
yes,
theater-wise in junior high school, you took some writing classes in high school, and
yes.
you wrote some stories.
A lot of short stories.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, did you write for your school newspaper or anything like that?
You know, I didn't. I actually got into debate, and I joined.
I can understand that part.
I joined the debate team, and we went into competition and debate. I stayed with my love for theater, and my writing was very personal. It was actually very cathartic for me. Because of the fact that I said no as a child. Mm-hmm. I wasn't always allowed to express to my mom exactly what I wanted or didn't want. Mm-hmm. And so I would write it. So my writing really was very private. It was my release.
More of a diary?
I didn't call it a diary because it wasn't anything that I was hiding.
Have you shared it?
Have I shared I have journals upon journals, and no one has ever asked me if they could read my journal. So I have not yet had to share it.
Had to make the decision as to whether to share it.
I'm very transparent as a human.
Well,
so
I'll tell you what,
But I didn't bring a journal, so I don't have anything to share with you.
We're here every Sunday. You know, that's not a problem. So
if I wanted to come and just read a couple,
the thing
out of my journal,
that you said was
I'd
that
love
no
that.
one has asked you to do it. You know, and yeah, sure. I'd like to go through some of your journals.
I would love to do it. I've got a stack full, a pile full of journals that I've been writing.
I could see it now. We could, promote that we're going to go through your private journals between such and such years.
I might have to take some names out, just
I
might have to take some names out.
Notify some people. Okay, Melanie's going to read her journal that includes.
I will take the names out.
5 or 6 months that she was very familiar with your cooking and things of that sort.
It's my stuff is always about self-growth, self-awareness, and promoting that within myself.
You've written plays.
I have.
Okay, and in your plays, what pretty much the various themes? I'm looking at some of the names of the plays that I'm wondering if they really suggest what you were thinking about. Our Journey to Freedom, for instance. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm Okay. Mm-hmm. That's the title, and I would think that a play like that says I'm okay would, like my granddaughter, she loves to fall down because she loves getting up.
Right.
And she's always saying, I'm okay.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
Okay.
Well, when we come back from break, I will definitely talk a little bit more about those titles, and we'll get into whatever you'd like to get into.
Very smoothly done. I'll accept that. And we'll be back right after this short break, and we're going to give Miss Melanie a chance to tell us a little bit about the book that she has, and we're also looking forward to getting our mental exercise wrapped around how to be green and save energy with our electric cars that we don't have yet, and how we can look forward to maybe this new technology that Mr. Gray Cash is going to share with us. Might help some of us make a few bucks. Okay, we'll be back right after this short break. I'm Wallace Allen, and you're you, and we're going to merge together right after this break.
KCAA Loma Linda.
As parents, we've done everything possible to protect our kids from COVID-19, from using hand sanitizers to masking up. But now we have the most important tool, vaccines. They help protect our children and the entire family. And it's okay to have questions. Ask your doctor about the COVID-19 vaccine for your child, or visit vaccinateall58.com to learn more and find a vaccine near you. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
This is KCAA.
Okay, we're back. Melanie Sifford is part of our crew. I want a disclaimer here and make that disclaimer that she is part of what we do here, and an excellent part of it, not enough of what we do here. But I want to promote the fact that there's parts of all of us that those who are close to us have no idea exist. And bringing out each other's talent or acknowledging each other's talent really is something that we should take the time to do. We should look each other in the eye and say, wow, what's on your mind? What do you got going on? Blah, blah, blah. And we'll learn from that. And though we are often with people, most of the time, the people that we think we agree with, we really would like to find out what things we are on different sides of so we can educate each other. I'm a pretty versed person, but I think most men, most people have a little high on themselves. You know, we like ourselves, and as we merge with other people, we usually want to like ourselves enough to make them be more like us, which isn't why we were attracted to them in the first place. Opposites attract, not same. Anyway. Challenge. I'm reading something from her book, a description, and it's about Andrea Pierce. I guess she's the
Andrea Pierce. Yes, yeah. She is
challenged to stay focused on pursuing her career. Andrea Pierce must get her head out of the clouds when the love that she never saw coming shows up and puts her in all the places that she has avoided her entire life. Bad boy. You know, am I projecting, or am I, all the places that she'd avoided, sounds like, she was a good girl.
Yes,
and
she
told
is a
not
very
to,
good girl.
and stayed away from a lot of things.
She is a very good girl.
Is he a villain?
He is not a villain.
He's a nice guy.
He's a nice guy.
Would his mother be proud of how he's performing?
He's as a lot of us are damaged by circumstance in life, but in his heart, he's a good person. Does he love her? He does.
What's love got to do with becomes the next question.
Yeah. Well, I think
was she on
her
career run?
She is.
Was she
graduating college?
About to succeed and
getting
go
ready
on
to fly?
And he shows up with this.
Here he comes. Damn.
You need to stay in town. I mean, what's all? Oh, that's.
Yeah. Well, and he doesn't do that, and I'm glad I didn't write the character to be that. Limiting, because we do have a lot of relationships where one or the other partner can be limiting of the other, and it's not always intentional, but it is always very effective.
Does she learn the lesson in the book?
This is the first installment,
so
there is more to come.
So she can make a few mistakes and come back.
Yes, she definitely. Well, it's part of growing. It's part of all of our journey to bump our heads against something and figure out, nope, that doesn't work. I need to go the other way. So we will see her growth and what decisions she makes in our second installment, which I'm actually starting to write this summer. So.
I note that you have several projects on hand.
I do.
At the same time?
I do.
Does that motivate, confuse, or abuse? How does that work for you to be
No, it's
working?
very exciting, and it keeps life very entertaining. It's not, I mean, you know for a fact that I'm working on a new podcast, Collective Voices, with my girl Taki Bara, Yolanda Hill. And occasionally we're here learning from the master. And I am going to say it online, and I'm going to say it right now that I'm so grateful for everything that I've watched you be and for everything that you're helping me to become. So I'm very grateful for that. Other projects, we've got screenplays.
Does that include royalties at any point? I just ask.
Well, as soon as they start
and
rolling
the fact
in.
that you laugh so quickly, let me know.
Well,
Eric is in there.
see.
Eric, we've been here before, right? We understand. No, not a problem. We can pat you and.
But isn't that part of the journey? I just had a lot of students graduate, and a lot of them want to talk to me and tell me how grateful they are, and that's really special because oftentimes we're just doing in our service. And we're not necessarily expecting anything in return. It's just a service that we offer. But every now and then it is nice to get that compliment and that thank you.
And the compliment really is definitely, I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. But I will appreciate much more, actually seeing the next phase takes place because it's like, that's my boy. If I had dunked on Michael Jordan a couple times when we were, well before he got good, I'd still be riding with him now. Mike is great, but I remember when,
Right, exactly.
So and that's part of it. I want to be able to, in the Inland Empire, touch as many people that I can who are on their way to greatness. Right. And hopefully, some of that light will shine back on me and maybe a little money will fall back in this direction. But I'll tell you, it's the same thrill that I feel. And I can honestly say that I met Jimi Hendrix, hung out with him a couple of times.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
And it's I don't have any pictures.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, that would be like, wow, Jimmy, let's take a picture. Come on, man. Let's
I think men
let's be with each other.
But
right?
I think men are like that. I would love to take a picture if I'm going to be hanging
out.
I
wish I had some pictures now, but at the time,
and
so I'm going to take a picture with you now,
and I
so
am so
that I don't avoid, so that I avoided that later on things. Say, I know Melanie. Yeah, right.
But I'm not going anywhere. I definitely value my connections. Very much so, and
I'm going to ask you to stick around because we're going to bring in Mr. Gray Cash, and I don't know, maybe you see something to write about there, but I want us to understand that our artiste to entertain is that same artiste that creates a reason to be happy and want to be entertained.
Yes.
Okay, so our contributions to the growth of the planet are very large. And,
very large.
From your creative level, now we're going to go over to the creative level of meeting Mr. Gray Cash. He has come up with it's a Cash Electronic Design Incorporated. He's developed many products. He's there to help you develop your product. But one of the things we want to talk about today is his great product that is going to help us enter and maintain a good, strong place in the world of efficient energy. We'll be right back and give you a chance to meet Mr. Gray Cash right after this.
This is KCAA.
We now return to the adventures of Vaccine and Booster, Ultimate COVID-19 Warriors.
Vaccine.
Yeah, Booster.
This COVID-19 and its pesky variants have gotten way out of hand.
They are no match for us.
Repeat the mission.
Protect the community, reduce hospitalizations and death.
Because we're the best protection available. Fact.
Watch out! Incoming!
Shields up. Take that, COVID-19.
And that.
Find safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines and boosters near you. Visit myturn.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
Miss your favorite show? Download the podcast at kcaaradio.com.
Oh, baby, this is Empire Talks Back. I'm Wallace Allen. It's a great cloudy morning. Great morning for you to go out there and water those plants before the sun comes out to evaporate all of the water that you thought you were feeding the plants with. Just the same way people think putting the gas in their car is going to make it, efficient and operate. But there's so many little holes in what we do that there's room for improvement in almost everything. And as we look at electric cars, which are looking very much to be important in our future, so important that people are putting money down now to get a product that sometimes is 18 months away, from what I understand about a Tesla vehicle. Don't know if that's the same thing with the Ford and the Chevrolet and all of those other people that are making electric cars. But Mr. Gray Cash, you are the founder of Cash Electronic Design, Inc., and I don't know if you started that because of your desire to get involved with electric cars, or you're just an electricity nerd. How are you, son? And tell me how you got involved and where we are.
Well, yes, I decided to. Actually, I decided to get into this particular industry because of my love for vehicles.
Okay.
I had a desire to invent something and go into business for myself, and it was natural to settle on my natural love for automobiles. So, and to come up with my first product that I would design and be the founder of my company, and that would be the thing that I would launch my company for.
On your way to becoming that, you say your love for automobiles, your love for, what did you do to prove your love for automobiles prior to actually getting involved as an engineer? Did you tear up a couple of cars? Did you tear some apart? Did you fool around with the motor part? What was your real interest? Was it just the car being pretty? What's the deal?
I was always into the motor.
The motor, okay.
The motor, and still now my car is still pops and gargles now. So it's kind of a bittersweet that I'm doing something for electric cars that is going to be kind of pushing the end of the the gas powered car a little further along, and so everything's going to be quiet now, even though my car is loud. But it's interesting that we move into the things that we most focus on, and we move in towards our loves in life when we create and we decide to where we go with our lives.
Our bodies, our minds do that. Our bodies don't always travel which in that same direction, which for some people makes a tremendous frustration in life because they're not able to do that thing that's keep driving them from inside, and that frustration, pretty soon it's like they don't even recognize it anymore. The fact that you can go back to the things you enjoyed as a child and see that sticks with you, and you're still able to hang on to that and move something with it, describes, I think, some level of parental support, environmental support that let you keep that in mind. And I attended a meeting with you last week, and I note that the first person that you brought to the stage to appreciate was your father. So that kind of support, so it gets back to, once again, folks, our ability to inspire and to create an atmosphere for other people is critical. And you've been exposed to that. Your mother was the one who called me and said, Wallace, you got it. And I'm thinking, well, absolutely. I know that your mother's demonstrated a lot of love for the community. It makes all the sense in the world that she's going to call me and tell me something about her son. Okay, so I'm looking at that, and I said, wow, just like everybody else, these mamas got a real reason to love their child and appreciate and want to share with the world what their child is doing. And you've got a tremendous product. Tell us about the end result of what you think your product will do to push electric cars and make the world greener and more efficient.
So to address, I
got to rush this because we only have a little time, just like the rest of us have only a little time to correct the things that we've done and are doing to the earth, so that the earth doesn't spit us out and start over again like it's done, I don't know, maybe 1 million times.
Yeah, so what it does is we harness the rotational action of the wheels to create energy with the vehicle, for the vehicle to extend the mileage per charge without slowing the vehicle down. Let me talk to my people now. Your wheels are turning on the car. They're creating big-time friction against the road. They're creating big-time friction within the axle and the touching of the car. And that friction is energy, but it's just like wasted dreams in the night. You can't wake up, you can't remember the dream, and most of us are using that energy on our car every day, and it's going away, and you're saying you can bring it back in to use it. Yes.
Okay, guys, you see I'm working with you now. I want you to pay attention. It's not going to be easy, because if it was easy, it'd have been done a long time ago.
Yeah.
But he's pointing at something that we probably all dreamed about and paid no attention to. But you're paying attention to it. Okay, so you're able to recapture that lost friction from the wheel turning, and I think, if I understand right, anything that rotates creates that type of potential efficiency if they use your product.
Correct. Anything with the rotational action that is electric can take hold of our efficiency technology. Yes.
Okay, and within that, now I understand you're using magnets.
Correct.
Now I don't know what all of that does, but folks, it's not. You go to Mars, but you come back to Earth. You have to go somewhere else to figure this stuff out, but you have to come back and use the natural resources that you have available, and that's where the genius part takes place. I'm sitting here next to a genius. I don't mind. I'm happy to say it. Go on.
It's many established technologies used in a new form to create a new apparatus that's never been seen before. Yeah.
So as we look at how that affects the new technology of the automobile, why focus your product on the automobile as opposed to, say, refrigerators that everybody already has?
Well,
not everybody.
It would seem that, well, for me, when picking an established technology that we all use, the vehicle is already moving. It's already creating that, we're already using that energy to move the vehicle. So it seemed like the most effective way for me to develop my technology, instead of creating an entirely new object to harness the energy in order for, like, to say, if it was a refrigerator, like you mentioned, we'd have to create a rotating action in there. But with the car or any item that already rotates, it's already happening.
Okay.
It's already happening. So it's just more efficient to already apply that technology to something that already has that apparatus, and we just interject our technology and then make it more efficient.
Now, mothers, fathers, and neighbors, and everybody that that watched you grow up and watched you tear up cars and fix them again and things like that, naturally we're enthused. But there's others who are enthused. I think you mentioned Chase Bank. Tell us who is looking at your product and how they feel about your product.
So we got connected with this company called Insperity. and they're an HR firm, and they're going to be partnering us to grow the company, as well as because they're closely connected to Chase Commercial, and Chase Commercial has a division of it where they look at companies that they believe are going to scale quickly and who are pre-revenue, and they take them on board once they're venture capital backed.
And this is a company that they just do this without any regard for how it could impact them financially. They just do this as a benevolent thing, or are they putting their marbles in the game?
No, they're putting their marbles in the game because our use case for the technology has put us in the realm of 1.1 trillion as far as a
1.1 trillion what?
Dollars.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Wait, let's start to restate that sentence. So let's unpack that sentence. Say that again.
Our use case of all the things that
use case.
Yeah.
Is that youth, Y-O-U-T-H, or U-S-E case?
Use
case.
All the things that could possibly in the world can use it.
Oh, okay, that's back up here. So these people who are in the business of unpacking the potential of startups like yours see that the potential use of your product can affect how many people or how many industries and touch how much money?
It's worldwide.
Worldwide, people-wise. And when they said money, it started with illion, but with the T part.
Yeah.
Trillion.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of you folks don't know what a trillion is. Don't worry about it. I don't know what a billion is. Most folks don't know that either. But a trillion, first of all, a million, you need a million to get to a billion. I don't know if a billion gets you to a trillion or if a billion gets you to a trillion. But while we were figuring that out, they have looked at your product and determined that the trillion is an appropriate estimation of the impact financially that your product is going to have. Well, we're going to take a short break.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm going to do except look at this young man here and say, wow, thank you. That's amazing. That's inspiring. That's something that we should all be proud of from one level and excited about from another. We're going to be proud during the break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about why we should be so excited. This is Empire Talks Back. I'm talking to Mr. Gray Cash, the founder of Cash Electronic Design, the founder of a product that you and I are going to be using I don't know how soon, but we are going to be using it. We'll be right back.
But we won't let nothing hold.
KCAA Loma Linda.
Publish your legal notice in West Side Story newspaper. For the best service and the best rates, call 909-384-8131. Publishing legal notices in the city and county of San Bernardino since 1990. West Side Story provides friendly expert service. Call 909-384-8131 to benefit from budget-friendly rates. Whether a fictitious business name, a name change, a divorce summons, or any other legal or public notice, call West Side Story newspaper 909-384-8131. 909-384-8131. That's 909-384-8131.
As parents, we've done everything possible to protect our kids from COVID-19, from using hand sanitizers to masking up. But now we have the most important tool, vaccines. They help protect our children and the entire family. And it's okay to have questions. Ask your doctor about the COVID-19 vaccine for your child, or visit vaccinateall58.com to learn more and find a vaccine near you. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
KCAA.
All right, we are back. I hope you have your pen and paper there, because you need to write some of this stuff down. Of course, you may have a good memory. I don't know. I don't know how much cannabis has been in your life and affected your ability to write down and remember stuff. But now that it's legal, I will expect that many more people are involving. So get your pen and paper. That's all I'm saying. Don't let a memory deficiency help keep you broke, because there's money out here. There's things that you should pay attention to. The electric energy deal, my father, 95 years old, he was talking to me yesterday about the energy in the ocean, that we're not using, that the access to that energy, and he was talking about why don't the oil and gas people simply take the energy of the people that they are hiring to dig coal mines and to work the oil fields, pay those people to use their energy to develop green energy, self-sustaining energy. It's hard to make the change and make the switch, folks. I understand it. If you're a cartoon person, it may be, you don't want to go to a live play. But if you do, you'll just find that you enjoy it. Mr. Cash, your involvement with this product, this is your first product. I believe you said that.
Yes.
This is your first dream was to do this. And you're operating on it, and you've been told that if you focused on anything else, you'd be totally insane, because this is got nothing but success at the end of the line. As far as the rest of the world of peers that you're involved in, it tells you what are other people that are in your business doing similar to what you're doing?
Well, one thing that you'll see all of the car manufacturers starting to roll out their electric vehicles. The reason for that is there was a report of by 2040 being a transfer demand of $25 trillion available to anybody who got into the electric vehicle market, because the electric vehicle, by its definition, is a better car than the gas car. So that $25 trillion is if you really start to pay attention to those car markets, you'll start to see them all doing their electric car now. And before, where they had electric cars, they made them really ugly, and they did that on purpose. But now,
when you say they did that on purpose, what was
they made them ugly on purpose because they knew that they didn't want to mess with their other products as far as the gas-powered cars, and they knew that the early adopters don't care about the looks of the cars, so they just want it, okay, it's electric, I want it, kind of thing. So they didn't really invest into looks of the car, and that was totally 100% on purpose. But now they're starting to make them look good because they know that report came out from like Bloomberg and a lot of these other, analyst reports that this gold rush is about to happen. And now you'll start seeing them strategically positioning themselves.
Well, I think the state of California set a deadline for when they want all gas-operated cars off the road. Or at least they're not letting any new gas-operated cars come on the road. I know that's really upsetting my friend at All Make Auto, Tom, who does Volvos. And right now he's the greatest fixer-upper of your old Volvo that is gas-operated that I know of. And anyway, that's another story. Your future with this product and automobiles, we're talking about the wheels. How many applications in the automobile do you see your product being able to work with, and what other products other than the automobile do you see your what do we call it, magnetic energy converter?
Correct. So right now it's just the wheels, because that's the rotating action. When you move over to electric, you don't have as many moving parts.
Okay.
So that's the only real action that you can really harness on there is the wheels itself. There is other applications like the shocks, and then you can harness the air. But the thing about those things is they never created enough energy to actually do a substantial return back to the vehicle. So there has been a lot of attempts made at cracking the rotation of the wheel. But what I've seen that the other inventors did was they tried to create a one device that did all multiple items, but you couldn't get away from the sapping. When you have a mechanical force, sapping that mechanical force into chemical energy. That action right there you can't get away from it.
Yeah, we're going to get away from discussing it, though, because you can't get into it either over the radio. It's very specialized. The statement that the Chase people made about the potential impact of trillions of dollars for your product is extremely interesting. Can people, what's the development line of your company right now? How can people participate with you? Can they participate with you? Can you talk about that on the radio? What can we do to make a little money with you here? Is that possible?
Yes. Right now we're in the process of a raise right now before we do our major raise at the end of the year. So you can come to the website, Cash Electronic Designs. There's a tab, Investor tab, where you can take a look at all the things that we're doing, and you can personally reach me. My email is there, and then we can have a conversation.
Excellent. So give your website again.
Is cashelectronicdesigns.com.
That's pretty simple, folks. cashelectronicdesigns.com, and that's the name of your company.
Correct.
Man, I appreciate you stopping by. I appreciate you letting me jump on your spaceship here. I am going to ride it as far as possible. I'm just enthused. I'm enthused about the Inland Empire. I'm enthused about the fact that we have so many great potentials here, and that if we work together and open it up, we will change the world. And so I appreciate that.
So too.
Miss Melanie, I'd like for you to come back and tell people how we can get involved with your book and other things that you're doing. You can share that microphone. You don't have to leave. We're closing out the last moments of the show, which once again, folks, give us a chance. Yeah, Miss Melanie, how you?
Yes, I'm back.
Yes.
So you can get my book at my website, journeyintoimagination.com.
Journey into Imagination.
Yes. Also, if you follow me on Facebook, I have links all over the place. And if you follow me on Instagram, I also have links. And I don't have any crazy handle. It's just my name, Melanie Sifford. Did you get that?
Tell them how you spell Sifford. So at the same time you talk about not having any crazy handles.
Yeah, no, it's S as in Sam, Y, P as in Paul, H-E-R-D as in David.
Say that. Pronounce it.
Sifford.
Sifford. There's no F in there, folks.
There's no F.
Yeah, but Sifford.
Yes, with the D.
S-Y-P-H-E-R-D.
You don't have to make that hard D, but you know.
Listen, I look forward to both you guys coming back. What did you hear exciting about Mr. Gray Cash's?
Well, I'm not an engineer, so I have to admit it was kind of over my head.
Mm-hmm. What about the
saving money is a big deal.
What about the $1 trillion potential? Does that catch you at all?
No.
Oh, she's a romanticist, folks. This is what I'm talking about. This is amazing. Cash.
There's money out there. There's money out there for everybody.
Yeah. And once again, the beauty of who we are is the ability to focus on what we want to focus on in the midst of what the world is telling us should be focused on. Now, the world is telling us that we should focus on the evil enemy, people who are trying to replace us. Man, we want to replace errors all the time. Hell, that's what editing is all about. That's what life is about, making the change. Don't be afraid to make the change. Look for the reason to make the change. And don't be jealous and try to hold other people back because he's a nerd. That nerd is making the world better for you if you slow your butt down so that you can, take advantage of something that's being offered to you to benefit you. Look at all the stuff that you buy that's bad for you. You get belly aches, stomach aches, headaches, and all that stuff. Folks, go to bed, wake up, be yourself before you get up. This is Empire Talks Back, looking for you next week under two circumstances, if the good Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. And I told you should learn how to swim. We'll be back next week. Bye.
KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda,